Hello and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Liberty with the older brother Kelton here. Um, I love the Second Amendment. I've done several videos on it. And once again, I'm doing the Second Amendment video because there's a person, loudmouth, by the name of David Hogg, who's now he is a survivor of the Parkland massacre in 2018. So he thinks he's educated enough to talk about gun control, and that in fact now since he's gone to Harvard, one of the most liberal colleges in the United States, apparently he's trying to say that gun enthusiasts and people that's for guns has widely misinterpreted deliberately the Second Amendment. Um, so he's an anti-gun nut. And he says that it was never meant as an individual right. It was created to protect state militias like the National Guard. Well, let's use your logic, shall we, Mr. Hogg? And your last name is actually perfect for one of my points, which we will get to. So we're going to destroy your statement, Mr. Hogg. Now, if you look at Harvard, or if you don't look at Harvard, if you actually study actual history and not the history they give you, during the colonial times when the Constitution was written, militia was any able-bodied man, not just in the military. It was any able-bodied civilian or colonist or citizen. So you know what that means? That means that every man, no age limit, every man, according to the wording of the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia, that means every man who is not in the Army but a citizen of the United States shouldn't have their rights taken away, and that they had the right to own guns. But let's take it a step further, because you want to compare the National Guard to this. Now, I'm going to look up the definition of the word militia using the Oxford Languages. This is where the definition came from when I Googled it. A military force that is raised from the civil population to supplement a regular army or in an emergency. A military force that engages in rebel or terrorist activities in opposition to a regular army. And here goes, it says historical in the U.S. All able-bodied citizens eligible by law to be called on to provide military armed forces. All able-bodied citizens. You see? And they actually made it a point to say that's the United States definition. But let's take it a step further, because when you read the Constitution and the Bill of Rights only has the right of the people 3 times. It's in the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment. So if you're saying that the Second Amendment is only talking about National Guard, even though it says the right of the people, so therefore, by your Democrat left logic, only the military and militia or National Guard should have the right of freedom to protest, and only have the right for the search warrants. Other than that, regular civilians don't have those rights anymore. I mean, I'm just going by your logic, Mr. Hogg. But let's take it one step further, shall we? Militia Act of 1903. First version of National Guard, which is considered an organized militia. They said the states should be federally trained. So yes, federalized of the same training, because each state had different training for their guard, for their state militias. And remember, even the state militias was pretty much anybody who was able-bodied before 1903. So it became federalized, so kind of the same standards as regular army. And then, but now there's what they call an unorganized militia. The unorganized militia is every able-bodied man 17 to 45 years of age. So, even with that being said, all males between the ages of 17 through 45 should be able to get a gun then. So guess what that makes you, Mr. Hogg? You're discriminating against people if you want to use the term militia as not for the right of the people. Because now you're saying, one, anybody who's over the age of 45 shouldn't get a gun. That's age discrimination. It says that an unorganized militia is all able-bodied men. So now you're a sexist, a male chauvinist pig. And hence, there goes your last name, Hogg. See how that connection made perfectly? So, Mr. Hogg, are you saying you're a male chauvinist pig? Since you want to say militia, since you want to go by the term militia? Because in the United States laws and stuff, I'm part of the unorganized militia. So I have a right to own a gun. But my wife does not because she's not a male. So, do you want to look at that term militia? Or do you want to look at the right of the people shall not be infringed? The right of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed. There's a reason why there's commas and everything else. And remember, it was written in 1787, not 2023, where the militia was everybody. So actually learn some history, learn some definition of words, and actually study your laws. Because with this, you sounded more like a jackass who doesn't know what he's talking about. Some little kid who needs to go back home and learn his ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And that's just my opinion on the subject. What's your opinion? Like, share, subscribe. Let's write some comments down, even if it's to say hi, so the algorithms cannot block me on anything, and so more people see this video. So we can all laugh at Mr. Hogg's interpretation of the Second Amendment in our United States Constitution. Once again, this is the older brother of liberty, reminding you what true freedom is and ought to be, and please do your research.